If you clicked on this video based on the title, you might be a young teenager or maybe a young adult traveling home after school or maybe after work, and you've decided that your lifestyle will consist of being at home, maybe watching TVs, gaming, going to the gym, and that's it. Your social life most likely don't exist, and if you do, it's to the minimal. And you're telling yourself that you're antisocial, you're an introvert, when in reality it has become like the normality in 2024. Loneliness is the biggest pandemic after the coronavirus. And a lot of people nowadays don't even face it, but in order not to feel lonely, they will often compare themselves to others. They will often be on social media trying to connect with people. And some people will even seek relationships in order to escape the loneliness. But doing so, it's like trying to get rid of thirst by drinking salt water. In the long run, it will eventually just make it worse because now you're dependent on somebody. What you have to realize is that I was one of those guys, or I've turned to become one of those guys for the last 4 or 5 years. And the reason for that is because I always used to work. That was my main focus. And although it's not wrong, I would like to say that socializing yourself is also not wrong. It's good to have a balance of both. If you enjoy your own company, you will also enjoy other people's company. If you can do both, you live a very high quality life. But what I often see is that it has become such a struggle for young adults out here to socialize. They don't know how to speak to women. They don't know how to get new friends. They don't even know how to enter a room without feeling some sort of anxiety, which is a huge problem if you don't fix it. So what I want you to think about is that you might have goals right now. You might want to start online business. You might want to make money, and you're wondering if it's going to work out. You're wondering if you can live the lifestyle that you want to live. You don't want to live under other people's expectations. Your parents right now is probably telling you to take a long education that you don't really want to take, but you don't want to disappoint them. Or maybe you just ended up in a breakup and you don't even know if everything is worth it now. Like you feel like you lost your favorite person. And you have to think clear. Everything, like every bump on the road, doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. In other words, if you face obstacles, it's just a part of life. There will be more obstacles. There will be a lot more obstacles. This is just the beginning of the chapter. This isn't even like in the middle of the book. You're 18 now, 16, 17. Maybe you're 20, 25, 30. You're going to live for long. You're going to experience a lot more. But you have to ask yourself, what type of person do I want to be every time I face a struggle? Do I want to become better or do I want to become worse? If you want to become better, you have to do everything in your power to actually reflect over the struggle. Don't try to hide the emotions. Let the emotions flow through you. Think about, what did I learn from this? How did I end up in this situation? How can I prevent it the next time? And by doing so, you will actually heal a lot faster. You will learn how to control your emotions. And you will also learn how to have a positive outlook on life. Because when you start blaming life, you don't have a lot of choices left. If you start thanking life, then you have a lot of choices left. And the struggle of kind of being a young adult with a brain that sees the world for what it is that it will punish you. It will be a daily pain because you know that there's so much more out there. But in order to actually take the leap of faith, the chance of exploring it, you have to sacrifice something. You have to sacrifice something. You have to sacrifice the pride in your parents' eyes when you tell them that you're dropping out of school, or when you tell them, I don't want to do this education anymore, I don't want to become a doctor, engineer. You have to sacrifice the hopes of your friends of staying in the same hometown. Maybe sacrifice your partner's joy when you tell them that it's not going to work out because you need to focus on yourself and your career. And by doing so, you're actually putting yourself first, which is a huge, huge accomplishment. Remember that. You was born alone and you'll die alone. You have to have that ego in the beginning when it comes to starting your career or chasing your dreams. And it will cost you some relationships, but it will also build a lot more. And although it's not easy, I'm just trying to tell you that being alone, this lonely chapter you have now, a lot of successful people, they kind of explain it as you haven't become successful, but you've outgrown every people around you. And you're wondering, when will I eventually hit the target? Because you already shot the arrow. You're just waiting for it to hit. As long as it's in the right direction, I can promise you that it's just a matter of time. But you have to be patient. You have to be patient enough to believe that no matter how far it takes you, no matter how long of a time it takes you, you will accomplish that goal. You will hit the target. And it's only when you see the vision that it will actually hit. If you can't see it in your head, you can't manifest it. If you can't visualize hitting the target, you never hit the target. I played soccer for 10 years at a professional football team. And I'll tell you this. Every time I took a shot, if it was from the midfield, if it was from like 60 meters outside of the goalie, I always visualized how the shot will go in the goal before I shot it. Would the ball curve? Would I hit it as hard as possible to the right of the keeper? How would I shoot it? And every time I did and I took a shot, most often it went in. And if it didn't went in, somebody took it. If it was the goalie, if I missed the target, and every time I took a shot, I always thought to myself, what went wrong here? I was putting too much force on the ball, so it went over the goal. Oh, the keeper scored the keeper managed to save it because I couldn't bend the ball in the corner. And what it taught me is that in life, you have to take a lot of shots in order to reevaluate what happened. Why didn't I hit the target? And when you hit the target, you need to ask yourself, how did I do it? Because it will be like different distances. And when applying it to life, I understood that most people don't take enough shots at the goal. They have a goal. They don't want to take any shots. But they're asking themselves, like, how can I take that one perfect shot? And there is no one perfect shot. You might be lucky. But let's say that your luck runs out. What do you do now? So investing into yourself in this lonely chapter of your life, investing into becoming a better version of yourself, reading books, if you see here, you see I have a lot of books that I'm reading right now. Investing into vitamins, have it down here. Just investing into your health, going to the gym, hanging out with friends that are high quality, and using your weekends on work. It's not stupid. It might seem stupid now, but I promise you it's not stupid. 1.5 years ago, I was sleeping on a couch. That was the reality. It was a small apartment. And then 4 months later, I moved in with my brother to a rich neighborhood. It cost $2,000 to stay in that small apartment we had, but it was around people who had a lot of money. The apartment cost like $1 million, $1.5 million. And everything we did every day was we looked outside the window and we can see a car for like $150,000, $200,000, $80,000. And we were not used to be making that money. We made between $30,000 to $50,000 per year when we were kind of like scaling. Fast forward 1 year, my brother still lives there. Now I moved to a bigger apartment with like one of my friends. And now I make a lot more money. I've actually managed to kind of double or triple it in just the span of 1 year, taking a chance on a job that was fully provision-based. Nothing was ever promised. It was only percentages of what you sold. That is a high-risk job. But the only thing I did was I imagined. I asked them, if I put in the work, how long would it take me to make the money? They told me 6 months, and I managed to make it in 4. That is when I reached my first 10K per month. And the only reason I did it is because I visualized and I work morning and evening for 4 months. And when I reached that goal, everything was possible. And the reason I say this is because I had a lonely chapter 6 months out of my life, like from October last year to March this year. I had a lonely chapter, but that is what it took me to make $30,000. If you want to have, and that is what it took me to make $50,000 or $40,000, which is not bad at all. But the thing is, this time I want to make a lot more doing my own private business. And it's not going to be possible unless I have a lonely chapter, which is why I'm telling you, if you have a lonely chapter right now, it's very good. It's supposed to be good. You're supposed to view it as a blessing. A lot of people are stuck in daily habits where they have to take care of other people's needs. They have to help their parents. Maybe they have children. They have a partner. They need to be everywhere at any given time, accessible. You, on the other hand, you have a lonely chapter where you can do whatever you want. You can go home and you can watch TV. You can put on the gaming control. You can go to the gym. And if you take time into online business, I promise you, you can change your life within 6 months. Within 6 months, you can make enough money to have time and location freedom. And there's no amount of money that there's limits on. If you're working regular jobs right now, you're probably getting paid by the hour. That means that every day you go to a job, you know how much you're going to get paid. Next month, if you go to a job, you know how much you're going to get paid. If you make $2,000 per month, you make $2,000 next month. If you have an online business and you make $2,000 this month, you can make $4,000 next month. That is the huge joy of having an online business. You put in a lot of work in the beginning, maybe the first year, second year, third year, maybe it takes a couple of months. And then when you have the blueprint and you've tested it out and you know how to get clients, all of a sudden you're making tens of thousands of dollars per month, even more. And people don't realize that this is a huge blessing. This is like one of the best things you can experience as a human being. It's to be financially free. It's to have enough money to not stress. But it's not going to be there if you don't have that lonely chapter. So if you're at home right now and you're feeling like, oh, I'm missing out, I don't have friends. Or, oh, I'm missing out because I don't have people to be with, I don't have a partner, I don't have a relationship, I'm trying to speak with women. Take some time off and think to yourself, the reason you don't have these things is because you're not the best version of yourself yet. You need to focus on yourself solely for 6 months. If you go to the gym for 6 months and you keep a consistent diet and you start an online business and you try to get out there on social media, I promise you by the end of 6 months, because you're doing so well for yourself, you will attract the right people that you're looking for. Now you don't have to force yourself to stay in circles you don't want to stay in, which is 10 times of a higher quality of a human experience. Hanging out with people you don't have anything in common with, except for one thing, if it's drinking, if it's smoking, if it's clubbing, if it's chasing women, it's not going to make your life any better. You're only going to be more depressed. And you have to realize this before you even take the chance. Let's say you make $10,000 per month now, and you know that it's on a fixed base, and you've done it for 6 months. That's $60,000. Now you can move location. Now you can move to a bigger city. Now you can move to another country. And you can gain so much experience in such a short amount of time that it will bring you so much joy. And that joy will increase your life quality. I promise you, you will gain so much more experience. You will see that the world is bigger than what you thought it is. And you will get to know so many persons. So hang in there, please. If you have that lonely chapter, just hang in there. Believe that everything is going to work out. And I promise you that it's going to work out. It's currently like 7 a.m. in the morning. I've been up for a couple of hours just working. And I'm headed to my job now, where I'm going to be working from like 9 to 5. It's the sales office. And my goal for the next 6 months, and I will say it, is also to make 5 figures per month in social media, like in personal branding and everything. And it's not going to be possible until you sacrifice something. And I have to sacrifice a lot of friendships right now. I will still stay in touch with my friends, but I have to sacrifice something in order to make more than enough time to make these videos, to make sure that I'm actually making connections. And you should know that you're not alone. It takes time, but I promise you when you make it, it's totally worth it. So hang in there. Don't give up and trust the process.